Hey everyone, welcome to season 2, episode 14. I'm your girl Roz, your host and creator of Roz's Happy Hour. This is brought to you by Trisha Entertainment. If this is your first time here, welcome. If you've been here before, thank you. I appreciate you. I hope you all come back and join us again. We look forward to seeing you. And if you're watching on Facebook, please share. If you're on YouTube, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. We got some more shows lined up for you, and we want to stay connected. Thank you. So how you all doing? What's happening? Who you got tonight, the Warriors or the Lakers? Put it in the comments. Let me know. I got the Warriors. And did you get a chance to see our show last week with Paul Williams Jr.? Oh my God, he's just like his daddy. It's still up on YouTube. Feel free to go check it out on Roz's Happy Hour if you missed it. And I also just had some bad news that David Ruffin's daughter just passed away. As well as, today Paul Mooney passed away. He's the last of the pioneer comedian. So my condolences to both families. Whew, well, it's Wednesday, hump day. say wind down, I don't mean wind down, I mean wind down. You know what goes with jazz is some wine. So I hope you all have your glass and you're ready to enjoy our next guest. So, um, if you would have any questions for him tonight, please just put it in the comments for us and we'll try and grab it. But hashtag Roz's Happy Hour. All right. I'm also on Roz's Buy Me a Cup of Coffee, which turns into Buy Me a Glass of Champagne. So more about that later. At this point, let's just remind you that our motto here is to bring you the best in arts and entertainment. Well, it's time to welcome saxophonist, flutist, and two-time Grammy-nominated multi-platinum artist. Please put your hands together, give them some hearts, and welcome Najee.
How are you, Roz?
I'm good. Welcome to
Good.
Roz's Happy Hour.
Thank you. Nice to be here. Thanks for inviting me.
Oh my God, you're more than welcome. Well, let me just say congratulations
Oh,
on your
thank you.
recent nomination. I mean, on the Image Awards
Yes.
for the Center of Hearts. That was an outstanding, for outstanding jazz artists.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. You had some
Honor.
great talent on that project.
Yeah, I try to call my friends for favors when I can, So,
Well, how did you decide who to put on that project?
pretty much the way I do every project. It depends on the songs, and what they're calling for, and then who's available. On this project, we had Kenny Lattimore. Originally, I was doing it with the brother from After Seven, Kevon Edmonds,
Yeah, my
and
buddy.
then unfortunately, his brother had passed away at the same time we were recording, so we had to still fulfill the commitment of being on time.
Mhm.
And fortunately, Kenny was available, so that's how it all ended up with he on there. And so that's pretty much if we choose based on what's needed.
Yeah, well, that was a
Yes.
good choice.
Oh yeah.
You did
Yeah.
wonderful. And then you're writing a lot of your own music.
Yeah, I do, but lately I've done a lot of collaborations. That's really what I like to do is more collaborations than sitting writing. I get bored with myself when I just write by myself now. It's not like back in the old days. It's like sometimes I'll be writing, I'm like, man, you wrote that song almost 20, 30 years ago. You might want to bring somebody in on this one.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hmm.
Well, let's just back up for a minute because
Sure.
you studied music at one of the top schools of music, the New England Conservatory.
Yeah, New England Conservatory of Music in Boston.
Yeah.
Yeah, I went there. Both my brother and I went there. We actually kind of went on a whim. We had been touring musicians since we were 18, 19 years old. And then
Mm,
we got a word from our mother one day that either we had to go to school or get a job or get out. So she gave us those three options because we were playing all night long until 4 a.m., coming home, sleeping all day, and now we're 18 years old. She's like, you got to figure this out. So we went to Bronx Community College and majored in music there for a year in New York City. And then I came up with the bright idea. I wanted to study with the legendary Mr. Joe Allard, who taught
mm,
John Coltrane and Eric Dolphy and Michael Brecker and all these great players, David Sanborn, and he was teaching at the conservatory up in Boston.
yeah.
So we decided to go audition, and we got in, and the rest was history there. You know.
Wow. Because I know,
Hmm.
I mean, I think the only two top schools were Juilliard and
In Manhattan,
Berkeley. Oh,
yeah.
okay.
Well,
Okay.
there's several. There's Manhattan School of Music. There's Eastman. There's several around the world, but um, yeah, Berkeley and Boston was either Berkeley or New England Conservatory. Those are the two top schools here. You know, and the conservatory was actually more classical school, but they had a jazz department, which I was a part of. So
Oh, wow.
yeah. Hmm.
So when you were out there touring before you went to school, who
Hmm.
were you touring with? You got on the
Uh,
air?
I'm sorry, say it again.
You got on a gig?
Yeah, right after high school, I toured with a local band from New York City called
Oh,
Area Code.
I
And we were, back then, we backed up Miss Black America on a world tour for the USO. So at the age of 18, that was my first world tour, touring with her, backing her up. And then after I left the band, I went with Benny King, Stand By Me, Him. I did that for a summer and before I went to college, my first year of college. So I toured with him. And then, of course, we played a lot of local gigs. I mean, we grew up in New York where at that time there was just a lot of bands and a lot of great musicians that came out of the area. And so we were a part of a community that really motivated and sustained that kind of lifestyle for that time.
Mhm. So you knew early on, I guess you've already answered my question, when you wanted to be in the entertainment business.
Well, I was motivated by music, but honestly, my first love was aviation. I went to a school in New York City called August Martin High School, which was dedicated to the aviation industry and training young students to go into that industry. So I went to high school to become a pilot. One of my classmates was Russell Simmons. We were classmates together until he got kicked out of school for punching a teacher in the face. So
Oh,
but at
sounds
the age of
about right.
15, at the age of 15, my teacher, Mr. David Vetter, he designated me to be the lead tenor saxophone player in the band, in the jazz band. And one concert we were doing in the auditorium in school, I stood up and took my tenor saxophone solo, and after that solo, all the girls knew my name. So I had a quick career change. True story.
That'll do it.
I thought it was just me. Branford Marcellus got the same story. That's how he stayed saxophone as a saxophone player. So power of women in your life, right?
Yeah, exactly. Well,
Mm-hmm.
Lavelle Degree. Lavelle.
Say again.
Lavelle Degree of the Whispers.
Oh
He's a
yeah, of
pilot.
course.
He's a
Oh,
helicopter
oh,
pilot.
okay, all right.
Yeah, he used to
Mm-hmm.
fly people around Vegas.
Okay.
I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
Lavelle, I know you from being on the stage. I don't know that I'm gonna get on the
Right.
helicopter.
Well, there's a lot of great musicians who fly. I mean, I actually after September 11th, I stopped going up, but I stay home and practice on the simulator just for fun.
Oh
So.
wow! So
Mm-hmm.
you still kept
Oh yeah. Oh
up
yeah.
with aviation.
All the technology, yes. Just for
Wow.
fun, though, not recreation for me at this point.
Yeah,
Hmm.
that is so cool. I mean, I'm so
Yeah.
happy to learn new things about artists that I didn't know about.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
So, I mean, when did you get your first break into the industry?
when I was 15 years old, we played a community center in New York. I came from an area of New York and Queens called Jamaica, Queens. Actually, that's where Trump is from, but he was from North Jamaica, where the rich people lived. We were
Uh,
in South Jamaica, where the projects were. So I grew up in an area there, and we played a local community center that was at the time New York City was trying to promote condoms in the neighborhood, and we were just innocent kids. So we go into this community center and we see all these balloons blowed up, not realizing they were actually condoms. We didn't know what they were, but they always say you become a professional when you start making money. So that was the
right.
first time I got paid. I got paid $40 for a young kid at that time, 15 years old at that time. That was a lot of money. So I
Yeah.
knew that sticking in it would be lucrative at some point. Yeah. Yeah.
Wow. That's amazing.
Hmm.
And you've played with a lot of different artists. Is there any
Yeah.
one that stands out?
Oh, well, it's really a few. I mean, as an artist, I've been blessed to just live my dreams, play with everybody I would have never imagined I would work with. I mean, I remember when I was a kid, my brother and I would look at Shaka Khan on the Rufus records, never realizing at one point, we may actually be in her band. And so in 1983, we both got hired to play on the Ain't Nobody tour with her.
Oh,
And so we did that for a year. And then after that, I shortly got signed to Capitol EMI Records, and the rest went on. But yeah, some of the people I've been blessed to work with. Prince, of course, I toured with him for 3 years, did 3 albums with him. So that was always very, very special. To work with him and so many others. Al Jarreau,
oh,
even some of my
yeah.
contemporaries like Will Downing and Freddie Jackson. So
Yeah.
many, Patti LaBelle and Phyllis Hyman, just so many people I've been blessed to be with. Yeah.
Well, can I show a clip of you
Sure.
with? All right. Well, let's take a look at
Okay.
Najee playing with Prince.
All right.
You treated me like some unwanted child. It's all over now. I loved you all the while. Somebody loosen it.
Wow.
Wow. Where'd you find that one?
I was like, oh my God, what an honor to play with Prince. What year was that?
Well, I toured with him from 99, the end of 99 to 2003. Well, I'll say he reached out to me in 1999, and then I went out to Minneapolis for 2 weeks. And that's when we recorded this album called The Rainbow Children. And after that, he asked me to join the MPG for a 2-week tour. I looked around 3 years later, I was still there, and I had to go to him and say, hey, man, I'm sorry, I got to leave. You know, the audience doesn't know if I'm still doing what I do, you know. So, you know, but he was very gracious. He was one of the best people I ever worked with, honestly. You know, loved him, man.
Wow, that's amazing. And yeah, I'm so sad that we lost Paul Mooney today because he's from the Bay Area.
I heard.
Yeah, he's between New York and Oakland. So that was interesting. So just want to shout out some people. Oh, I got to shout my girl out, my best friend, Teresa. Happy birthday. That's my road dog. We both from Chicago.
Oh, I didn't know you were from Chicago. Okay.
Yeah, born
all right.
and raised. Yes.
All right.
Yes, absolutely. No, West Side.
Oh, okay, West Side. There you go.
So
You're rich. You have money.
No. You know, I have two sides to me. You know, I know how to survive. So I can hang with the best of them. Absolutely. So just wanted to shout her out. Carmen, hello. Thank you for being here. Frank, where's Frank? They were so excited. Oh, you're talking about the Prince. Thank you guys. Great clip. Yeah. Hey, Ron. That's pretty cool. So, Najee, how did you decide to go between the sax and the flute?
Well, they've always simultaneously been part of me. I mean, but in high school, I was in this band, and one Christmas Eve, my horns were stolen. And so for a year, I didn't have any saxophones. So all I had was a flute. And it ended up being a great blessing because I got to study at Jazzmobile in New York, which was under, at that time, a federally funded program under the direction of the late Dr. Billy Taylor. But he had these great musicians that taught there, Jimmy Heath of the Heath Brothers, Ted Dunbar, Frank West, great musicians who, you know, I would go every Saturday. We go up to Harlem on 127th Street and PS 127 actually, and we would study with master classes with them every weekend when they were, you know, off the road. And so that began my journey into jazz. And then I got the opportunity to also study with Harold Jones, who was the first African American to play in the flute section of the New York Philharmonic Orchestra. So I got to study with him at Manhattan School of Music on the weekends as well. And so the flute, I started to develop on the flute until I was able to get my saxes back, you know, new saxophone. So,
wow.
And, yeah.
Awesome thing. Billy Taylor's Jazzmobile. I don't know. That's something you may know. I don't know.
Oh yeah, well, Jazzmobile, that was a program I was in. It was a program out of New York City. So when I was a kid, yeah.
Oh.
And that really was where my advancement in jazz began, because up until that point, I was pretty limited, you know, as a young musician playing R&B and pop songs. And then at the age of 16, you know, I started to develop in jazz because of those master classes with Jimmy Heath and Dr. Taylor. Mhm.
Wow, you started young.
Yeah. Yeah.
You started young. I think Gerald Albright told me that the sax is the closest to human voice.
Yeah, it is, but it's also the nature of the instrument is it adapts to the personality of the player. So that's
Mm.
really, that's really what people mean by that. It's, you know,
Oh,
for example, when I was studying as a kid, I tried to play like John Coltrane on tenor saxophone and Joe Henderson, and I could play all the stuff technically, but I still sounded like Najee, so because that was my personality, and it took years for me to be comfortable with that. I mean, when so
oh, yeah, he
yeah,
has their own style,
yeah,
Najee style.
exactly. So
Yeah. So LL Cool J, there's a lot of folks came out of Queens. Is
yeah, LL Cool J, Run DMC, of course, Russell Simmons, as I told you, Tom Brown. You remember
oh
Jamaica?
yeah,
Oh, that's what it
yes.
is. Yeah, he's from he actually wrote that for our neighborhood. People think it was for the island of Jamaica, but it was Jamaica, Queens.
Jamaica Queens.
You're right. Marcus Miller. Marcus Miller is from there.
Oh,
And
okay.
when I was growing up in my neighborhood, there was a more lucrative area, I would say, Adelaide Park, which my first house I ever bought was in that area. But when I was a kid, people
Mm,
like John Coltrane lived there. Miles Davis lived there for a while.
mm,
James Brown. James Brown lived there. That was one of his homes there in Queens. And then and Count
wow.
Basie. So we had a lot of star musicians in that area. Of course, we lived on the
Wow.
other side of Merrick Boulevard where the poor people lived. But
Yeah. I
but
know
we had
that.
some very affluent African Americans that lived in that area.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So did
So.
you get to meet Count Basie?
I never met him, but I threw cookies at his wife when I was 13 years old. True story. My friend and I, we were coming
Yeah.
home from junior high school, and we diverted through that neighborhood one day, and we stopped at this house where it was a wooden fence,
Mhm.
and you could look through the wooden fence in the crack and see people swimming in a pool. Now we didn't really have pools in our neighborhood, but this house had a pool, outdoor pool. And it was a warm spring day, and we had some cookies. And we started throwing cookies at this lady who was swimming in there. She was kind of big, and we ran, being Mr. Biz. I was about 13 at the time, and we got on the other side of Merrick Boulevard where the poor people live, and this limousine pulls up right behind us, and this big lady comes out with a bat in her hand to scare us. It wasn't until years later I realized that was Mrs. Count Basie. I threw cookies at. Yeah, so I never had the chance to apologize to her, but
Well, you just did. You just did. That's history. Yeah, that's wonderful.
yeah, that one will go in the memoirs.
So I was wondering, like, what category does your music fall in? I mean, traditional, smooth jazz, classical, probably all of them, right?
Well, yeah, I mean, I come from a long history of diverse music. I mean, I grew up in a household where my mother loved everything, so my ears were always open.
Mm.
And then when I became at the age of playing, what we did was playing local R&B bands. So my very first album, they called it jazz. My first four albums actually, they called it jazz, but they were really R&B records, with the saxophone, and that was a intentional thing on my part. However, I'm a jazz musician. I've played with many jazz artists. I mean, when you think of Larry Carlton, Billy Cobham, Stanley Clark, we did a live album together. The late Charles Earland, the great jazz organist, we've done records with him. Of course, I worked with Quincy Jones, and all those situations are what we call traditional jazz. But recently I just did a project a few days ago with the Jobim family, Antonio Carlos Jobim in Brazil. So I'm all over the place. Of course, I've done Prince, and Melissa Morgan, and so many, Will
Oh,
Downing. So it's whatever I'm called upon to do. On my current album, the current one, you Center of the Heart. I did do a departure and did some orchestral stuff on a song called Alfie. We did the remake of the Burt Bacharach Dionne
mm,
Warwick classic Alfie. We did that. That's more orchestral. So whatever I'm called upon to do is what I do.
Yeah. Well, I haven't got to work with such grades, but I did get a chance a couple years ago, and I worked with Cyrus Buckman,
Okay.
great pianist, and
Yeah.
Roy Hargrove.
Yeah, I knew
Right
Rory very well.
past. Yeah. He was, very, very eccentric. Reminded me a lot of Miles Davis.
Yeah.
But he could play.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. One of the greatest.
He was quiet, and then he got that horn and he just let go.
He did. Yeah.
So yeah, that's about as far as my classical part goes.
Yeah.
Well, let's check you out again. Let's check out Najee live. Hang on. Come on, Najee.
Wow. Where do you find this stuff?
Hey, we gotta have a show. I gotta represent. This is all about entertainment for right now.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so beautiful.
Thank you. Yeah.
Is it so? I see you have a lot of different horns. Are they different saxes for different, I guess, different songs?
No,
Different
actually, they're just sitting there. Most of them, I just have saxophones all over my house, in other rooms. And sometimes if I'm in one place and I don't want to come all the way upstairs, I'll stay downstairs, bring a mouthpiece and play down there, and But also sometimes, depending on songs I'm recording, I'll choose one of these here. That silver one behind me, I don't know if you can see it. That's actually my own line, the Najee Platinum Series, which I had started a company a couple of years ago. And since then, I've disbanded the company. But that was one of our horns that we created back there, the silver one, real pretty one. So any saxophone players out there interested in buying one, we have a bunch of them. So
yes. So Najee, get your sax.
Oh yeah.
Does it have your name on it, or you have the name of the company?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, it has my name on there. So we sold quite a few of those. Yeah, a lot of players like them, So.
Yeah, I might get one of those for a collector, to sit in my office.
Oh, I hear you. Yeah. So,
Yeah, we'll talk
I
about
have
that a
all
little
of
later.
that. Yeah.
Nice. I didn't know that. That is so cool.
Mhm.
All right. Well, there's grown folks music.
All
You
right. Yeah.
know, yeah, that's thank you, Corey the Poet. I'm actually working with him right now. He's done some amazing welding poetry into music. He did some
All right.
stuff with um, Lenny Williams. So that's the
Oh, okay. Lenny Williams.
yeah.
Lenny Williams, the singer, or Lenny Williams, the
Oh,
radio personality.
no,
Oh, the singer. Okay, from Tower Power. Yeah. Okay.
yeah,
Yeah.
Lenny, that's my neighbor. Najee is a beast. He is cooler than the other side of the pillow.
You know,
Okay,
that's actually
see.
that's a song I played on one of Prince's albums, "The Other Side of the Pillow." Yeah. Yeah.
Oh,
Uh-huh.
okay. Corey's on it. He
Yeah.
is definitely on it. Okay, I got you. Thank you. Hey, Laura. She's always got some really, really good questions and stuff like that. I see you, cousin. You got the same name, so I can't miss you on here. Let me just holler at my cousin Lester Trichet. What's up? All the way from New Orleans. That's where we're rooted from, New Orleans.
Louisiana. Huh? Yeah.
Yeah,
Nice.
yeah. So you just did your first show since COVID.
We did. Yes. Yes.
How
We were
was
in.
that?
It was actually very nice. We enjoyed it. It was a little interesting to watch everybody mask, but it was a sold out show. I mean, people there. It was probably about. I think the last count I heard was something like 25,000 people out there. So
What?
yeah, something like that. So I
Wow.
don't know if it's true or not, but that's what I was told. So yeah, and
Anywhere
we're
close
in
to that.
Vegas. We're in Vegas this weekend, and that's a 4,000 seater that's sold out. So people are hungry to get back to the music. So
Oh, most
yeah,
definitely. Wow.
yeah.
So Najee is sold out in Vegas this
In
Saturday.
Vegas, yes. Hmm.
I heard about
Yeah,
that. People
yeah.
were hitting me up saying Najee, we can't wait to see Najee on Saturday in Las Vegas. So, how's the band doing?
Well, the band is fine. I got actually some new members. Nate Mitchell is playing with us. He's an artist that was nominated for NAACP award for his album as well.
Oh,
Also Blair Bryant. All these guys are doing very well at radio now. Blair Bryant on bass. Also Freddie Fox.
oh yeah,
So
yeah,
all three of
yeah.
these guys are in the band with me now. And our
Oh,
first concert was just 3 weeks ago. And so they'll be with me this weekend, playing their hits along with me and having a lot of fun. And
oh, that's gonna be a
you
great
know,
show.
yeah, it's going to be a great show. It's a lot of fun playing with him. Freddie is married to Evelyn Champagne King. You might have
Yeah,
known that. Yeah. So
yeah,
who
yeah.
I've known for many years. Yeah. Mhm.
Wow. We're in Vegas.
I have no idea. I have to look it up for you, but I know I'm
Yeah,
there.
yeah. I know he's there too, and I'll post that little. And then somebody says I'll be in Vegas this weekend. Hey, Carmen, when will you be coming back to Detroit? Your concert for the last year chain was yeah.
Yeah.
So
We're scheduled to be there in September. Melissa Morgan and Alex Bouillon and myself will be together
ooh,
on that one. So it'll be a really nice show. Yeah. Yeah, we miss Shay. It's now called the Aretha Franklin Amphitheater. They named it after her. So
oh,
yeah.
yeah, I've seen that. Well, you've been producing music for over 3 decades. I mean, you've had 6 number 1 albums, 5 number 1 singles. Thank you for
Oh, thank you.
continuing to give us the hits and
Listen,
keeping the music.
I'm very fortunate. I was a kid that, back then would have done it for free, just out of the love. I mean, even when I run into my high school friends, they always say, man, all I remember is you carrying that horn everywhere you went. And so I always say I was blessed to carry my dream on my back, so, and
Wow, I hear you on that because I'm living my dream just doing this.
yeah.
And now, since the pandemic, we've all had to pivot, is the
Oh,
word
yeah.
we use.
Uh-huh.
So I'm like, I don't do interviews. I'm like, set up stages, I book shows.
I hear you. Yeah. But, for me, the pandemic, as terrible as it was, because we lost a lot of people this year, but, close friends of ours and family have died as a result of the the virus. But for me personally, it's been a good reset, because I haven't been off the road in 37 years. So, for me to be home and, get to know my house again, go in my closets and say like, oh man, I totally forgot about this stuff in here. I had saxophones and instruments I had forgot totally about.
Yeah.
So
exactly. Well, that's a good point to bring up, because I was going to mention you took this pandemic, you got it. You knew that this internet thing was happening. That's all we had. And I appreciate how you kept us entertained.
Thank you.
I was following you, so
thank you.
Yes.
Oh, well, we were just trying to figure out what to do. It was keep contact with friends and that kind of thing, and as much as you can, and people have been asking me when I'm going to do it again. I really don't know. I mean, I do it when it hits me, or there's a topic or something we could talk about, and when other people are going to benefit from it, that kind of thing. But I have no desire to do what you do, on a serious level at all. It's funny though. I did get called by Sirius XM. I did host a few of their I was a DJ host, for the watercolor station. That was really nice.
Yeah. Hopefully I can inspire to do something like that. But let me share one more clip of Najee playing for us all during the pandemic. Check this out.
Oh, okay.
Wow.
I forgot about that. You can tell I was bored out of my mind, man. Tell I missed the stage. Huh?
Not at all. We were right there like, oh my God, can he do some more of that? That flute is so beautiful.
Oh, thank you. Yeah.
I mean, what be in your mind when you playing?
Try to play like a flute player, because they call people like me doublers, and I always a lot of my students. I have a few students, not a lot, but a few students that and I always tell them, listen, you approach the instrument like a flute player. Don't approach it as a saxophone player playing flute, and that's how I learned, So because I find guys who play it like a saxophone don't style, they can't get the best out of the instrument. So yeah.
Does it get confusing though, to go between the two? Oh no,
not at all. It's two different mindsets,
Yeah. So on a given show, you can switch up.
Oh yeah.
Nice.
I can do that. It's not. That's easy for me, but except when I haven't been practicing. Like if I put the flute down for a few days, it takes me a few days to get it back. So.
Wow.
So yeah.
Wow, that's a. Ron said the Vegas show is at the Clark County Government Center on Saturday, May 27th.
Oh, thank you, Ron.
Thanks, Ron. Appreciate you.
I know where I'm supposed to be.
Oh, you'll know then. You got people to do that. How's your brother doing?
He's doing very well. Just spoke to him a few hours ago, so he's doing well. He's down here with me in Florida. He has a home not too far from me, about 10 minutes away. We haven't lived in the same neighborhood in probably close to 27 years or so, so.
Oh, wow. You're in Florida now?
I live in Florida. Mm-hmm.
Oh, I still thought you were in the East Coast.
Yeah, Florida's in the East Coast. I mean, you got that part right. But no, I don't live in New York. I don't live in New York anymore.
No, because I was worried about you because it was hit so hard in the beginning with the pandemic. I'm thinking you were there trying to navigate through that. And today they just opened up New York, but you've
Yeah.
been open the whole time.
Well, kind of. I mean, the media can be misleading a lot because down here, I mean, you got some people. Most people respect the laws of, the law, and even though they've opened up down here, people still have wear their mask. I know I do. And
Yeah.
most people have, been vaccinated down here, so it's not as bad as they make it seem. And honestly, when this whole thing started, I was actually over in Europe, and we got the word that they were about to shut everything down, and I was worried I would have been stuck over there. So I got home quickly, before they shut everything down. And so fortunately, since that time, I haven't had any symptoms or anything. I've gotten vaccinated, all that stuff. But, we've had a few people in our family that passed on, and, they were a little up in age and, didn't have the health protection, so.
Yeah, I'm sorry to hear that.
Yeah.
It's been a trip, especially for the entertainment industry. I know a lot of major artists have contracted it, and but
Oh yeah,
made it through. So
a few of my friends, yeah.
and a lot of the band members.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
Well, that's good that we're starting to open back up. I'm personally not ready yet. I'm going to keep doing this a little while longer.
I understand.
And and then we still want those numbers. I mean, we're still in the red where I live in the Bay Area.
Oh wow!
In Solano County, we're still in the red. I don't know what's going on, but they're going to open up in June. So
okay.
I just tell you guys, walk at your own risk and stay, stay protected. So
absolutely.
Which instrument did you start playing first, the sax or the flute?
Actually, clarinet, and then saxophone. Yeah, I started on clarinet, and my father was a very famous classical musician. His name was Frank Clausen. He was a member of the New York Symphony Orchestra, the New York Met, the NBC Orchestra, and then when he passed in 1964, he was a member of the San Francisco Symphony Orchestra, and he passed away out there at Kaiser Hospital of all places. So I come from a tradition of classical players, and on my father's side, and so I started in clarinet, and then that switched over to saxophone in junior high, and picked up the flute along the way, and then that was that. So
wow.
Yeah.
Wow. So what do you think? Is it harder now to put out new music with, the radio stations? I remember it was a big deal with the jazz stations being disbanded.
Yes.
It's like, we've got series, but everybody can't, afford to.
Sure. Yeah.
So it's definitely has changed. Would you say?
Yeah, well, we saw the change coming back in the 90s when Napster came along. It started there, and when music could be given away for free, pretty much, and then along came iTunes and other things with the change in digital technology, where and the closing of retail stores. When I came up in the game, there were retailers, and there were record companies who invested in the artists to promote them and all that, and I mean, TV probably broke my career in the early days, because I was fortunate that when Najee's theme came out, it just kind of was phenomenal success. I mean, a gold record in less than a year for a jazz artist was pretty heavy. So I got to get on the major television programs, Good Morning America, Tonight Show, all that stuff. And that happened also for the successive albums, 3 successive albums after that. But that has all changed now. It's about the metrics. So people, you can't get on these TV shows because you sell a million records anymore. You get on TV shows if you got 1 million followers on Instagram or Facebook, or those kind of things. So the metrics of the game has changed, and So the days of going to retailers, when people would go in and they sift through and they hear something when they walk in, they decided, well, who's that? Let me buy that. Those days are over. So, but we've made adjustments, and I've done. I can't complain. I've been very, very fortunate. So I have no complaints about my career.
Team. You got a great team.
Yeah, I do. Yeah, I do. Yeah.
Yeah, your publicist is the best.
Yes. Thank you.
Yeah. Shirlene asks, have you done an album with CD with just the flute?
No, I haven't. I've done flute on my albums, one or two cuts, but I'm thinking about doing, because people ask me about that all the time, and it's funny because I get a lot of calls for flute records. I mean, I do a lot of flute stuff, here at home for other artists. So
yeah, you've done some movie scores too, though, haven't you?
I've done a few. Yeah. Nice. No, I mean, I've done, let me see. I was actually acted in one movie, two movies, one called Guilty by Suspicion, which was a Robert De Niro film about but my part was cut out. I had a scene where I was playing in Paris alone, and I guess the movie got too long and mine ended up on the editing floor, But I also was in this offbeat comedy, black comedy called Death by Temptation, which at the time had Melba Moore, had Freddie Jackson, it had Samuel Jackson, it had Kadeem Hardison, and I had a short little part in there where I'm playing. And I've had songs in movies like Three Men and a Little Lady, things like that. White Man Can't Jump, Jodie Watley and I have a song together in there. So, I've done a little bit of Hollywood, but I've never really been a Hollywood guy, so.
Nah, you too cool for Hollywood. Hollywood ain't ready for Najee.
I tell you, I've gone to a couple of auditions and they were like, nah, your reading is just not, because I didn't care. I really wasn't interested in that part of my career, So.
Yeah, no, you're good. Ron asks, who does Najee listen to?
Oh, man, I got a whole lot of great artists now. Let me see. If y'all want some great listening, let me tell you a few people to go get that I've been into. Well, Prince is coming out with a new album. So that's stuff you've never heard. And, I didn't even know this until somebody from England wanted to do an interview with me. And they said, you're on this album with Prince, this song. And I'm like, okay. He said,
nice.
He said, did you realize what he told me the name of the song? I was like, look, when I was in the studio with Prince, there were never any names to the songs. I just go in there and play. And then, they go into his vault and some stuff he released. Well, that stuff is coming out now. So his new album coming out, I think it's called, I want to say it's called Slaughterhouse or something like that. I'm not sure. But his Jared Lawson, great artist. Check him out. Jared Lawson.
Say that name again. What is it?
Jared Lawson, Jarrod Lawson. You really love his stuff. Great artist. Doobie Powell, he's another one. He's a gospel artist, but he does R&B. Really, really great artist. So those are some of the people I listen to. And of course, as a musician, I still listen to Jean-Pierre Rampal on flute and classical, James Galway, Hubert Laws. Saxophone. Wow. I still listen to John Coltrane, Michael Brecker. I mean, Chris Potter. There's a lot of people I listen to. So a lot of pianists as well. Herbie and others.
I didn't hear any hip hop.
Oh, I do hip hop. Yeah, I mean, I'm still a Biggie fan. I hate to say it, but I'm a closet Biggie fan. Everybody wants to stick me for my paper. Damn.
Don't worry, I'm still an MC Hammer fan.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah.
Oh my goodness. Who is she saying now? James Galloway is from my country.
Are you from Ireland, Laura? Laura,
yeah.
Well, I have a picture of he and I together. I got to post it one day.
Wow.
Yeah.
So that takes me right into my next question. Do you think music is different or perceived differently overseas than it is here?
No, I don't. I think the cultures cross collateralize. I mean, our responses in Europe or Japan or anywhere else in Africa is the same, and sometimes even more because they don't get to see you as much, so, yeah.
Wow. Michael Brecker of the Brecker Brothers.
Oh yeah, yeah.
You know who that is? Wow. You also have an amazing granddaughter.
I do. I do have 5,
Oh, you froze for a minute. So
4. Yeah.
I'm gonna share a
Uh,
clip. Can we share
Can
a
you hear
clip?
me? Okay.
Hold on. I'm gonna play.
You don't know, babe, that when you hold me and kiss me slowly, it's the sweetest thing. And it don't change if I had it my way. You would know that you are. You're the coffee that I need in the morning. You're the sunshine in the rain when it's pouring. Won't you give yourself to me? Give it all. I just wanna see how beautiful you are. You know that I see it. I know you're a star. Where you go, I'll follow, no matter how far. If life is a movie, then you're the best part. Oh, you're the best part.
Wow.
Yeah. Amazing.
That's a grandbaby.
Oh yeah. Mhm.
You're still froze a little bit. Let's see.
But,
Am I missing you? Let's see. Is that me or is that you? Am I still moving for you?
you see me?
I can see you, but let's see. Oh,
I'm here.
not anymore. Not
Okay.
anymore. This internet. I can see you. You're coming. There you go.
Okay.
Yeah.
Am I back? All right. Good stuff.
No, you're.
Well,
We can keep rolling. You know how we do. Business like show business. But she's amazing.
yeah, she is.
Oh my God, how old is she?
She's now 20 years old. So
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
yeah.
Okay. Well, got a great vocals.
Oh yeah. 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 Her mother was a great vocalist. So
So, the instrumental artist was not always so popular, and then but you stepped out and made it your own. How is that?
well, honestly, they were. I mean, you know, I think it happened in 10-year cycles. Coming up, it was Johnny Laws, it was Grover Washington Jr., Stanley Turrentine, Hugh Laws, many, many others. You know, Bob James, David Sanborn, and then at the end of the 70s and the 80s, there was a decline in the industry overall, and the you know, and what honestly to give credit to Michael Jackson because of Thriller, there was new, fresh money brought into the industry, and people like me got signed. You
Mhm.
know, at that point, Kenny G had out 4 albums or something like that, and the story goes that he was about to be dropped from Arista because his records weren't selling. I guess they signed him at the wrong time, and then Najee's theme came out, and it went phenomenally well, and all of a sudden the industry just went crazy. You know,
Wow.
so. But which was a great thing. I mean, I got the chart to prove that back. I don't know, you can't see way back there, but on that long wall there, there's a
Let me
chart
see.
that shows where he was way down, and then Clive Davis put the money in to bring his career up. The
Yeah.
rest is history. But yeah, 1986. You
Mhm.
know, Kenny G. And then other saxophonists got signed, and other artists. And the
Mhm.
industry was born. As a matter of fact, the charts of Billboard at the time were called the Jazz Contemporary charts, because they had to separate the traditional jazz,
Mhm.
and we had great success with that. And then later on in the 90s, of a niece, I forget her last name now, but she was the one who coined the term smooth jazz, and the industry was created out of that.
Wow,
Hmm.
that's amazing. That's
My
amazing.
my internet is working fine here. I hear you and see you well. And I don't know
Hmm.
what's yeah.
Yeah, what's going on? Well, we are. Oh, I just wanted to say that I love the jazz music audience. I mean, it is one of the most diverse audience, and everyone just simply comes together for the music. There's a level of
Right.
respect. It is absolutely the best parties I've been to. The cruises, the jazz festival, and we all love wine.
There's a
So
very close relationship with wine, cheese, and jazz cruises, right?
yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, it's just the best parties. And I mean, I could go to by myself, and which I have, and it's still, you just still feel a part. The music is so beautiful. And I didn't know I was late to the game, but I thought I won't miss any more. So
Sure.
let me ask you this: what's your favorite venue to perform?
I don't really have one, honestly. I guess in Northern California, it would have to be the Yoshi's. I love playing Yoshi's.
Oh,
That's a
yeah.
lot of fun. And we'll actually be there in January 22. So,
Oh, okay. I'll be ready then. I'll be
all
ready.
right. We'll
I
see
look
you out
forward to
there.
seeing there. Yeah. Yes. So I know we're coming to, oh, I wanted to say this. You also covered Can't Hide Love, one of my favorites. I
Oh,
was
yeah. Uh-huh.
wanted to ask people, what's your favorite Najee
Uh,
CD song? Put it in the
mhm.
comments, share it with us. Um, and so I'm just happy to see you. I'm glad you're able to navigate through this pandemic time, and you're got back on the road. You're getting back on the road, so I'm really
Mhm.
really happy
Oh,
about
thank you.
that. Yeah, yeah. I'm hoping more of the artists can come out of this okay. I haven't worked with you. Like somebody reminded me, it's been like 9 years since we did a show
Really?
together in Sacramento. Yeah,
Oh, okay. Okay.
but I'm like, I think it's been before that. But we did reach out to Dr. Franklin. You remember Dr. Franklin, the president at the time of Morehouse College?
Oh, yeah, yeah. Yes, of course. Yes.
Yeah, yeah. So
He lives in Sacramento?
no. I
Oh, okay.
was going on to another. I was glad to be able to hook you all up.
Oh,
And
right,
he
right.
was
Okay.
just
Yeah,
speaks so
thank you.
highly of you.
Oh, thank you.
Definitely.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
missed him when he left, when he left Morehouse. Yeah.
I know. I know.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was doing all the, major events for them. So, um, well, I think we said
Oh,
hello, and we're all in this. Um, let's see what else we got going on. Again, just thank you for playing for us, doing this entertainment or during this pandemic time, keeping us, entertained. It was really, really important. Do you ever go back to the New England School of Music to teach or perform?
no, I haven't been invited back yet. I have taken classes online with them, like copyright law and stuff like that. But,
Mhm.
we haven't had any connection at all. So,
Mm.
I had to leave when I couldn't afford to go anymore, you know, I was a poor black student that had to figure it out on my own. So, I just, when I couldn't afford to go anymore, I went back to New York, and 3 days later I got hired by Shaka to go on the road with her. So,
Wow,
yeah,
that's my girl. That's my
yeah.
lookalike,
So,
Chaka.
yeah. So all the people that were there when I was there are gone. That's the alma mater of of Coretta Scott King too. She was a student there. Not when I was there, but she went to New
No.
England Conservatory of Music. Yeah, she did as a piano major. A lot of
No.
people don't know that. Yeah,
No,
she
I
was a
didn't
classical
know.
pianist, and she studied at the conservatory there in Boston. So
Whoa,
mhm.
that's amazing.
Yeah.
Wow, I didn't know
Also,
that.
Regina Carter, the violinist. We were classmates. So quite a few people were there. Hmm.
Wow. Do you have a favorite song to perform?
No, I don't. I don't. I wish I could say I did. I don't. It's impossible when you play probably hundreds of thousands of songs in a lifetime that you could have a favorite.
Yeah.
That favorite may work for a time. It's like going back and listening to Earth, Wind, and Fire albums. It's like that was your favorite music when you during that period of time. But since then, you've moved on to other things, and
Mhm,
so
mhm. You just keep evolving.
keep evolving. Yeah, keep
Yeah,
playing.
yeah. Well, we have come to the end of our broadcast for
Well,
tonight.
thank you,
And I want to thank you, Najee, for
thank you.
giving me this opportunity to sit down with you.
Oh, it's
Thanks for
my
coming
pleasure.
on the show. I can't wait to get to book you and work with you
All
again.
right. Yeah, it would be nice. It will. Yeah, it'd be a lot of fun. Look forward to it.
I
So,
wish you well. And I just want to know, do you have any final words of encouragement to help other upcoming artists or um, just, words of encouragement to people to help them make their way back from this
sure.
pandemic as we open back up the country?
Well, I always tell young artists to try to do something that no one else is doing. There's a saying a wise man said one time, and it always stuck with me. He said to envy is ignorance, and imitation is suicide. So don't try to be anybody else. Just be yourself, and you know, just start where you are. If you're starting out, your local hometown, that's where you start. That's what happened with me. So that's generally the way to do it. And you just build a groundswell out to the outer world.
Amen. Amen. Well, again, thank
All
you.
right.
It's been a
Thank you.
pleasure.
It's
All
really my
right.
pleasure. It's good to
All
see
right.
you, Roz.
Same here.
All right. And thanks
Always.
for having me on.
You're welcome. Thank
All
you.
right. Be well.
Thank you.
Bye bye.
Bye. Well, we just concluded episode number 14 of season 2. Thank you all for rocking with your girl Roz again. Please share with a friend tonight's broadcast. It's not too late. We'll be back next week with our 1 year celebration. I've been doing this for 1 year. We'll be back with the Hamiltons, and those are the Anthony Hamilton singers. They're bad to the bone. Don't miss them. Stay tuned to our channel for updates, and please be safe out there. I appreciate you, and look forward to seeing you next week. Holla at your girl Roz. See ya. All right. See you guys next time. Thank you.